Shapiro Negotiations Institute. We are a firm, we were started by a guy named Ron Shapiro. And as Ted said, Ron was pretty prominent in the Baltimore area. He was an attorney for a lot of the Orioles. He represented baseball players. He represented, his first client ever was Brooks Robinson, the Hall of Fame third baseman. He represented Eddie Murray, the legendary Hall of Fame switch hitting first baseman DH. He represented, as Ted said, Cal Ripken, the Iron Man of baseball, another Hall of Famer. Kirby Puckett, Hall of Famer. His current clients include Joe Mauer, a guy from the Minnesota Twins who's sure to get into the Hall of Fame. But a lot of you are sitting there going, I'm not even into baseball. He represented Jim Palmer, great right-handed pitcher. Jeff, that's another baseball player. I know, but he was also an underwear model. A little something for everybody. Google him, very attractive man. So he's out there and he's representing all of these guys. And one of the common themes is he knocked out some of the biggest deals in baseball. At one point, he was also Oprah's agent when she passed through Baltimore. Terrible ball player. But she had some options. He's representing all these folks, and he's hammering out some of the biggest deals in the industry. But a common thread is, he's a nice guy. Do you have to be a killer? Do you have to be, somebody who's greedy? Do you have to be somebody who tries to take it all to get a good deal? Take the emotion out. Go for the juggler. He wasn't like that. He was a nice guy. Kind of warm, kind of cuddly. And so people said, how do you get some of these deals and still maintain your integrity? You ought to share your process with corporate America, with the world at large. So he wrote his first book, The Power of Nice. How to negotiate so that everybody wins, but especially you. That ain't great. But a lot of people said, you know what? Power of Nice, love the book. Yeah. Most of the people I deal with, they haven't read it. So we wrote the follow-up book, Bullies, Tyrants, and Impossible People. How do you deal with people who haven't read the book? How do you deal with those folks? Folks who don't want a deal. Then he wrote another book called Dare to Prepare. The negotiation is often won or lost based on how well the individual prepares. And then finally, he recognized that a lot of people do a lot of great preparation, but in the heat of the moment, they say the wrong things. They say the words that they didn't mean to say. So all of a sudden, they've lost. So he wrote another book called about scripting, Perfecting Your Pitch. Now, about a year ago, my associates and I, we actually bought the firm from Ron. Ron hangs on as our mentor and certainly has taught me everything I know about negotiating. But we have concentrated on the training industry. I've been very fortunate. I've delivered programs. I've been with Ron for the past 20 years. Delivered programs on 6 continents, 28 different countries, talking about negotiations. It never gets old, because negotiation is something we all do. Skills that we should all develop. Skills that no matter how good you are, you can always get better. So that's what we'd like to talk about today. When it comes to talking about these things, look, I'll tell you, I joined the firm 20 years ago because I loved the title of the book, The Power of Nice. I'm looking at it thinking, this is perfect for me, because I've always been really nice. Just kind of born that way. Never always had a lot of the power part. Everybody loves Jeff when you're giving it away for free. Everybody loves Jeff when you're giving in. Everybody loves Jeff when Jeff is kind of just, going with the flow. All of a sudden, Jeff pushes back a little bit. Hey, you're not as nice as I thought you were. In this industry, you folks, you build a lot of relationships. You come to events like this. Hey, how you doing? Great to see you, great to see you. And then you sit across the table at some point. Hey, you used to be so nice. Yeah, I was. That was back when I was drinking. I'm sobered up. And I'm going to need my fair share going forward. So anyhow, as we go through, I'm going to use these little handouts that we have. But what I'd like to do, I'd like to start off with a quick little negotiation. I love what I do. I'm very fortunate. I really love what I do. I get to meet some great people, some very interesting people. But no matter how much I love what I do, there's still a dream job out there for me. Yeah. Same job a lot of you aspire to, I'm sure, game show host. But you know what? I have not yet gotten a call. But I do have the opportunity to run a little game show up here I like to call the dollar bill game. So I have gone into our audience and I hand selected a couple of contestants for the dollar bill game. So I'd like you to give a warm dollar bill welcome to our first contestant. He comes to us all the way from Washington, D.C. via New Orleans, Louisiana. He's with the firm of Holland and Knight. You know what his hobby is? He loves to be a blacksmith. That's right, he loves blacksmithing. Please welcome Jim Rodriguez! Come on up here, Jim. Yes, if I had you come stand here on my left, that would be ideal. Our second contestant. She's with AIG ever since January. She loves cooking and running. She's married, has 2 children. She's from New York, New York. Please welcome Lily Rubenstein. Come on up here, This is so exciting. We've got a couple of great contestants. Now, you know these people better than I ever will or hope to. Or maybe you don't. But what are you thinking? In a head-to-head negotiation, by show of applause, who do you think is going to emerge as the victor? How many people think it might be Jim Rodriguez? How many people think it might be Lily? We'll find out, because we've got a couple things going for us. We've got a fantastic audience. We've got a couple of great contestants. We've got a very charismatic host. What else do you need for a really good game show? Prizes! You're exactly right. And there is no better prize than cold, hard cash. I know! That's why I always carry with me 10 $1 bills. Yeah. So the 2 of you are going to negotiate with each other for a division of these 10 $1 bills. Now there are a couple of rules. Rule number 1, you may not split it 5 and 5. That would just be a little bit too easy. Rule number 2, you may not split it $2 and $8, but I'll buy you a drink later. No side deals. Nothing outside the room. No attempts to even it up after you have left this platform. Whatever deal you come to is the deal you have to live with. All right? Now, the third rule is you must split the money right here, right now, in the next 30 seconds, or I end up keeping it all. So, let's see who is the better negotiator. Hold that and speak right into it if you would. Let's see who's the better negotiator. Can you come up a little bit closer, please? All right, ready? You may begin. Go, Jim. Put it up there in your face.
Good start, Jim.
Don't forget about contingency fee.
Let's go.
What can we do to help? Let's see.
Oh.
Come on, Jim.
What do you think?
Make an offer.
Take 6, I'll take 4, that way we both get something.
Oh, I'll take.
Yeah? You'll go with that deal?
I'll go with that.
So you'll take 6 and you'll take 4. You feel good about that?
Yeah.
Fantastic. Look at that. We're a little bit over time, but that's a great solution. Here you are. You can take 4 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Thank you for playing our game. Give a big round of applause. That's a great solution. Let me ask you this. Is that the best solution that you could have come up with? I don't know. Let me tell you how this exercise typically goes. You know what? Most times I run this exercise, I've run this exercise all over the world. 28 different countries, 6 continents, and I gotta tell you, 95% of the time I end up keeping the money. 95% of the time I end up keeping the money, which is one reason I keep playing the game. But every now and then, you lose a little bit. Let me tell you what typically happens in a situation like this. Most often, what do you think happens most often?
Somebody tries to keep it all.
Somebody tries to keep it all? What do you think? What else?
I would have offered the other party the 40, and I would have kept the 60.
Yeah, I'd offer the other side, hey Jim, how about 4 and I keep 6? Well, yeah, I'll go for that, maybe. What I'll tell you happens most times is somebody says, I'll take 6, you take 4. The other side says, I'll take 6, you take 4. And they chew up their time arguing over who gets the extra $2. Why do you think that is?
Become a taker.
Yeah, I don't want to be the loser. Isn't that great? You know, in an effort to avoid losing, people end up both sides losing. You know, one of the things we talk about is win-lose quickly becomes lose-lose. When we enter a negotiation where we feel like we have to win, you know, the seminal book on collaborative negotiating, Getting to Yes, you know, that has a great line. It says, look, remember, it's not about the people, it's about the outcome. Focus on the outcome, not on the people involved. Kind of interesting. Do we ever get involved? Do we ever get focused on the people involved? Do we ever get focused on trying to win? We see so often win-lose becomes lose-lose. Where does that happen in your industry? All along. Settlements. But you know one of the things you negotiate on a regular basis? Information. Hey, can I have some of your time? Can you tell me how that happened? Can I interview you? Can I talk to you a little bit? Well, you know, that's a quick negotiation over somebody's time, over their interest. How often do they lose? You know, they say no, you lose. But do they miss out also? By not talking to you, are they not heard? You know, is there a downside sometimes to that saying no? Such a downside that it's a downside for both of you. Win-lose very quickly becomes lose-lose. How about in this exercise? Did they have any alternatives? Any alternatives that they might have overlooked? One alternative might have been, you know, who was the real enemy in this exercise? Yeah, it was me. Me and my wacky rules. You know, one of the alternatives that they may have had was, I had the best negotiation I ever had, was where 2 pair of individuals turned to me and they said, can I get some more time? What a great request. Never give it to them. But the bottom line is, look, that is a great request. Recognizing with whom you should be negotiating. Was the negotiation with each other? Or in this exercise, was the negotiation actually with me? Kind of interesting. How else could they have split the money? Now, keep in mind, these folks were up here, the time pressure was on, they were in front of it. Neither one wanted to do it. Let's be honest, they were doing me a favor just by being here, and in return I tried to make them look foolish. What could they have done? We all know the answers to Jeopardy in our living rooms. You know, but what could they have done? How could they have split money?
Handed you 2 pennies.
Handed me 2 pennies. How would that have worked?
They both keep the 5 each, hand you 2 pennies back. You just said the rules were 5. Can't be 5 and 5.
Can't be 5 and 5. Could it be $4.99 and $4.99? Great question. You know, why would that work? Why would that work, Jim? Why would that work? Yes.
Oh, you called me Jim.
I called you Jim. Yeah.
That won't work.
Well, no, it wasn't an accident. That's what you're going to be from now on. Unless you tell me something else.
You got 10?
Why does $4.99 and $4.99 work? $4.99, and 2 pennies for me. Why might that work?
It's your rule.
Conforms to the rules.
It conforms to the rules, it's even, everybody feels good about the deal. Is that a better deal than Lily taking 4? Well, you know what, Lily just increased her return by nearly 25%, just by breaking it into smaller units. Now, why didn't she think that? Well, she didn't have time, she had 30 seconds. The pressure was on. I doubt most of us would have thought of that with the pressure on. But if we had a little more time to think about it, absolutely, $4.99, and maybe 2 cents back to the host. They could have done, maybe they didn't have change. They could have done $4, and $2 to the host. You know, you take 4, I'll take 4, we'll leave $2 with Jeff. But nobody wants to leave $2 with Jeff. You know, I mean, that's just awful. How could they have split the $2? You take 4, I'll take 4. What could they have done for the last 2?
Giving it to a third party.
Giving it to a third party. They could have given it to you. What else could they have done? You take 4, I take 4. What do we do for those last 2? If they could have given it to charity, but we know charity's for suckers. I mean, that's just a scam. Don't get me started. What else could they have done? If only there was some type of game they could have played. Can you think of anything? Anything at all? Can you think of anything? Rob, what do you have?
Rock, paper, scissors.
Thank you, sir. Oh my God. Yeah, how do you come up with these things? You're brilliant. Yep, could have been rock, paper, scissors. You know, they could have said, you know what, you take 4, I'll take 4, we'll do rock, paper, scissors for the last 2. Would that have worked? How many people would have gone for that deal? Heck yeah. You know what? Yeah, I'd have gone for that deal. You take 4, I'll take 4, we'll do rock, paper, scissors for the last 2. Is that a better deal for Lily? Yeah, 50% of the time she gets $2 extra. She walks 50% of the time she walks away with $6. So on average she gets 5. Again, 20% higher return. How else could they have split the money? Well, I like the idea that you had. You know, make change. $4.99, $4.99. What if they just said, I'll tell you what, I don't want Jeff to even have 2 cents. I'll give you $4.99. I'll keep $5.01. Would that have been a good deal? How many people would have gone for that? Yeah. How about this? I had a guy one time. I was doing this program once in Las Vegas. Had a big crowd of people. And I did not have time to go pre-select the people I was going to use. I mean, I went and interviewed Lily. I tried to get her pumped up for the game. I talked to Jim beforehand. Well, sometimes you don't have that privilege. Sometimes you just pick people out of the audience. And I was in Las Vegas doing this at the Bellagio. Huge ballroom for a company, the Yum Group, the parent company of Taco Bell, Kentucky Fried Chicken, and Pizza Hut, Long John Silver's. Anyhow, I was doing this speaking engagement, and I wanted to do the dollar bill game. So all of a sudden, I'm looking out of the audience. It comes time for the dollar bill game, and I go, who out there is really competitive? On a scale of 1 to 10, who's competitive, 9 or 10? And then all these individuals go, oh, I am. You know, so I picked the ones who were the most enthusiastic. So I saw this woman sitting there. She was wearing a red dress with a lot of sparkles. She looked like she'd be fun. You know, so I go, you man, come on up here. And she makes her way up to the front of the stage. Then I scanned over to my left, looking for somebody else who might be kind of fun, and I saw this guy. I mean, you talk about fun looking. This guy, I mean, first thing, he was like 6'8". I mean, he was just a mountain of a man. So I got this petite little woman, and I'm thinking, this is going to be fun. You know, so I get this big tall, and as if that didn't make him look fun enough, he was dressed from head to toe like he had just come over from the rodeo. Yeah, he had a big cowboy hat on, he had a big belt buckle, had a pair of cowboy boots. So I said, you, Tex, come on up. And so Tex comes up to the front. I swear to you, it's the first time ever in real life I've seen a guy mosey. So I've got the Texan up here on our left. I've got the petite little woman on my right, and I launch into my spiel. And I say the 2 of you are going to negotiate for a division of these 10 $1 bills. Couple of rules. You may not split at 5 and 5. You may not split at $2 and $8, but I'll buy you a drink later. Nothing outside this area. You can't settle up later. And the third rule is you both have to agree in the next 30 seconds, or I keep it all. Let's see who is the better negotiator. Go. Well, Tex, without any hesitation, reached into his pocket, pulled out $1, slapped it on top. He says, now there's 11. I'll take 6, you take 5. Yeah. I gotta be honest with you. I picked Tex because he did not look that bright. But right about then, I was the one looking kind of stupid. You know, because he came up with one of the best solutions I've ever seen to the dollar bill game. What was his solution? Increase the pie. Look, when we're going back and forth, is there any way we can find to make the overall bigger? Can we improve the result? Look, I just said one of the toughest negotiations is over information. You know what? If they can give you information and you can return some information, maybe both of you can end up with a better outcome. You know, we look at negotiation oftentimes as a zero-sum game. Look, and I'm not Pollyanna. Sometimes it is. Sometimes it is a zero-sum game. But are there opportunities to try and figure out how we can increase the pie? So if you're keeping score at home, 4 solutions to the dollar bill game. 1, $4, $4, and $2. You know what? We call that points of agreement. Negotiations typically go smoother when you start with the points of agreement rather than the points of disagreement. Okay, can we agree on the timeline? Can we agree on the standard operating procedures? Can we agree on the personnel that are going to be involved? Can we agree on the ground rules before we start the negotiation? Look for points of agreement. The second one, flipping a coin. Why does flipping a coin work?
You both have the same opportunity.
You have the same opportunity. Flipping a coin, you look at, I mean, come on, you're not going to go to a flight disaster and say, hey, is it covered or not covered? Call it in the air. You laughed a little too hard at that. I'm thinking you've done it. Yeah, you know, I mean, that's ridiculous. You're not gonna settle a negotiation by flipping a coin. Now, what you may do though is if you look at the flip of a coin as an objective standard outside of the deal. Now that you may use. You know, that you may use. You may look at what are some standard objectives or standard objective standards that you might use in settling a deal, settling a claim. What are some things you might use?
The law.
Yeah, the law as it's laid out. Look, this is not me, this is not you. This is not me being a clever attorney. This is not you being a, somebody who's not an attorney. This is what the law says. This is what the FAA regulation says. This is what standard operating procedures are in the industry. Look, a case like this is typically settled in this range. You know, all of those are flips of a coin. They're just standards. Look, if it was in this range, we'd be talking there, but it's not. It's here. So let's use that standard objective, or that objective standard, to move things forward. How about the 499 and 501? Why do you think that works, 499 and 501? Well, one, it's about as close as you can get, you know? 499 and 501. But how about this? When you move in small increments, you know, when you're moving in dollar bills, people might tend to negotiate more. When you start moving in small increments, people start to think they're closer to the finish line. Let me give you a very crude example. Let's say you're driving down the road and you see a guy's car for sale. He's got a car for sale in the front lawn. He says, you know, it's got a big old sign on there. It says $10,000. $10,000 for this car. You want that car, but you don't wanna pay $10,000 for it. You're a negotiator. I'm an attorney. And you go in there and you say, you know what, I don't wanna pay $10,000 for it, I'll give you $8,000. He says, no, I couldn't take $8,000, I couldn't take less than $9,500. You say, well, I couldn't pay more than $8,500. He says, how about 92? You say, how about 88? 91, 89, 9,000. You notice as you get closer and closer to the point at which a deal is struck, the increments get progressively smaller. Moving in small increments is a sign to the other side that we're very close to a deal. Moving in large increments is a sign to the other side we're not really sure what the number should be. It's interesting. So thinking about that guy on the side of the road, you know, can we move in smaller increments and draw the other side to us? Look, again, the first example that pops to mind is money, settlement dollars. But even beyond settlement dollars, how about, you know, the person who says, can I have a minute of your time? Yeah, how often do you spend 60 seconds with that person? You know, but they're moving in small increments. Can I have a minute of your time? You know, I can give you a couple minutes. I can give you this. We're moving in very small increments to get the other side to buy in. And then finally, you know, the last one, increase the pie. What can we do to make the overall more valuable? Look, sometimes it's not about the payoff. It's not about the settlement. Sometimes it's about improving the industry, making everybody's experience more valuable. Look, we have a dispute with an airline. We have to settle this. Look, I'm going to expect this back from you. But you know what? If we take that and we use that, I can make flying more palatable for customers, which helps grow the industry. And you ultimately benefit from that. Now, maybe that's a stretch, but ultimately that's the best negotiation where both sides walk away feeling better about the deal. Did ego play anything in this little negotiation? Yeah, I think it did. I think there was a lot of emotion in this negotiation. Hey, look, I was trying to set it up with as much emotion as possible from the very beginning. Give him the big send up, get him up here, woo-hoo-hoo. How many people think it might be Lily? Woo-hoo-hoo. How many think it might be Jim? I mean, you don't think that had an effect? I mean, of course, the poor Lily's sitting there going, oh my God, they didn't even clap for him. The least I can do is slip him a couple of extra bucks. And I mean, poor Jimmy, were you watching his eyes? I mean, he's looking out there watching nobody clap. He's sitting there going, I'll show you bitches. I'm getting the extra $2. I mean, there was a lot of emotion there. We got to set the emotion aside, and how do we do that? Well, one of the ways we do that, when we negotiate, we need a process. When we talk about our process, we talk about the three, we talk about the 3 P's. Prepare, probe, and propose. Preparation, to build your confidence. Probing, asking the right questions. And proposing, as a logical culmination of those first 2. Look, negotiation is not about bullying the other side. Doesn't have to be about asking, 1,000 questions. It doesn't have to be, 67 ways to make the other side uncomfortable. What it is about a process. Prepare, probe, and propose. Preparation to build your confidence. Probing, asking the right question, and proposing as a logical culmination of those first 2. So if we dive into our process, we look at the P. The interesting thing is preparation is really the only aspect over which you have control. You can ask the best questions in the world. Doesn't mean anybody's going to answer. You can make the best proposal. Only an idiot would pass on this proposal. Sometimes that's who you're dealing with. So what you got to do is we got to prepare. So how do we go about preparation? Well, and I'm not talking about, the case. You guys prepare out the wazoo. But what I am talking about is when we get something that's a little bit impromptu, when we get a question that we haven't prepared for, when we get a presentation that we weren't sure was coming. And when we talk about that, we talk about the acronym PAID. PAID, where we look at precedents, alternatives, interests, and deadlines. Precedents, alternatives, interests, and deadlines. And we look at both of those from both sides. Precedents, has this ever happened before? Alternatives, what options do I have? Interests, what am I trying to achieve? And deadline, by when? Precedents, alternatives, interests, deadlines. You know, in our industry, we were talking about precedents. Some of you may remember back when Cal Ripken Jr. was breaking the Ironman streak, the consecutive games played. And right about when he was hitting 21:31, which was the benchmark, he was also renegotiating his contract. And the interesting thing is, he was one of the best players in baseball. So what a great time to negotiate. You got the hottest property, the biggest draw. He's playing great. So we went in to negotiate, and we started looking around. He was only making about $2 million a year. I mean, if you can imagine the inflation in prices, in salaries these days, he was making about $2,000 a year, and it was time to renegotiate. So the first thing we did, as a young intern, we started looking at what are the precedents. What are the precedents out there? Who can we compare him to? Well, here he was breaking Lou Gehrig's record. Let's compare him to Lou Gehrig. Didn't make the kind of money we were looking for. So you start looking around. Who else can we compare him to? Well, it was very fortunate. Ryne Sandberg, guy who played second base for the Chicago Cubs, he had just signed the highest deal in baseball history. $7 million a year. Well, that's somebody good to look at. Ryne Sandberg, pretty similar player, similar stats, similar draw. So, we got our numbers all prepared, and we went in to speak to the Orioles management, and the first thing that we laid out was Cal Ripken Jr. is one of the best players in all of Major League Baseball. We think he should be paid accordingly. The Orioles came back with us, and they agreed. They said, we think Cal Ripken's the best shortstop to ever play baseball. Let's pay him. We're going to make him the highest paid shortstop of all time. Yeah, unfortunately, Ryne Sandberg played second base. Highest paid shortstop at that time was Ozzie Smith, playing for the Cardinals, making about 2.5. So we're going to give you about $3 million. Congratulations. Yeah, let the games begin. But notice both sides came to the table with great precedents. Theirs, all-time shortstops. Ours, best players in the game. If you go into a negotiation and don't have you don't have good precedents, what do? Find other precedents. There's always a precedent you can use of some type. I remember when I was a kid, I did this all the time. I remember the first time somebody gave me $15 to do a chore for them. Took 15 minutes. $60 an hour. Not a lot of kids. I didn't get much work. But I didn't want it either. The bottom line is, look, can we take a precedent and massage it into what we need it to be? People are persuaded by precedents, but don't think that. That's no panacea. The other side's going to be doing the same thing, but we need to go in looking at our precedents. Somebody calls me up and says, "Hey, Jeff, you know what? I've got this piece of information for you, but I'm going to need you to do this, this, and this." Well, you know what? My first reaction might be, have I ever done this before? Have other people done this? Have they gotten in trouble because they operated that way? What's the precedent that exists? The second one is alternatives. What options do I have? The person with the most alternatives usually ends up with the best deal. So we look at alternatives. Interest. It's not what people say they want. It's what they're trying to achieve. Look, in this exercise, oftentimes people get bogged down on $6, $6. I want 6, I want 6. Instead of thinking about the outcome, You know what, we both wanna walk away with some money, so let's make sure that happens. How many people would have gone for, I take 6, you take 4? How many people would have gone for that? I'll take 6, you take 4. Yeah, $4 is better than nothing. That's why I didn't pick you. But what we see is it's the interest. It's not always the outcome. People will often give you their position. They don't give you their interest. You know, a guy's position, you know why a guy goes to a hardware store and buys a 1/4-inch drill bit? Because he wants 1/4-inch holes. If you could sell him the holes, he'd buy them. But you can't sell him the holes, so you gotta sell him the drill bit. If there was a guy standing around outside going, hey, I got 1/4-inch holes in the trunk of my car, you want some? Don't you think he'd go over and buy them? I mean, that's what he wants. He wants 1/4-inch holes. But he can't get them unless he buys a 1/4-inch drill bit. You know, a lot of times people are asking us for 1/4-inch drill bits and we got a trunk load of holes. And we lose the point. We try and work with them with the drill bit. Well, let me see if I can get you a drill bit. It's going to be hard to get you a drill bit. If I get you a drill bit, you're going to have to give me that. They don't even want a drill bit. They want the holes. But we miss the point. So it's about their interest, not their position. Finally, deadline. We want to take a deadline. No one knows this better than you. 80% of the movement typically occurs in the last 20% of the time. 80% of the movement in the last 20% of the time. That's why it's critical to be very aware of the deadline. But I mean, not just be aware of it. You know, I gotta have this done by Friday. If I have to have it done by Friday, Friday's the deadline. But also, not just be aware of it, but use it. At what point in the negotiation will the pressure be on them because of the deadline? At what point will the pressure be on me because of the deadline? If we can determine where the pressure points are with regard to deadline, we can do a very good job of either creating pressure or trying to alleviate pressure on either side. Great. Any thoughts on that exercise?
Mr. President,
Yes, sir.
I just think that, I mean, it was a much more emotional situation. But what Lily did by coming in with a number that offered more to the other side, if you are in that emotionally tight situation, that would be immediately somewhat disarming to the other side. Holy shit, I was expecting this, I was expecting a bear, and I got, you know, something a lot easier to work with. It's a sense of, I mean, she was willing, starting with that position, I always say, you know, fight fire with water.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's what she did, and that's why they got to the quick deal.
Absolutely. That's a great expression, fight fire with water. I love it. And I would applaud, I agree with you 100%. Because we might run into a conflict, let me start off with a peace offering. My only warning would be, if that becomes our default setting, that could be a challenge. If we do it automatically rather than thoughtfully, now here you had 30 seconds. And here, I think the key is, she could have achieved that exact same goal by saying $4.99 and $5.01. Listen, I'm a giver. Look, Jim, I know nobody applauded for you, but by God, I want you to walk away with more. So I'm prepared to give you $5.01, and I'll take $4.99. She accomplishes that exact same goal, but she increased her return by nearly 25%. And that's the key. I agree with you. Look, it's the power of nice. It's not the power of greed or the power of being mean or the power of a jerk. Partly because that's not the book, but partly because those books don't sell well. But the bottom line is, you know, it's the power of nice. Can I still be nice, but be a better negotiator? With $4.99 and $5.01, you could have been a 20% better negotiator. But we don't often think of that. But I agree with you 100%. Look, if you can start off with a little concession, build up a sense of obligation from the other side, all the better. I just want to create that sense of obligation without losing too much. Now, you know, people always say, yeah, Jeff, it was 10 $1 bills. What if you put a couple zeros behind that? And I always tell them I'm willing to try with your money. Have yet to have anybody take me up on. What I'd like to do now is I want to run a quick little negotiation. Some of you are going to get green sheets. Some of you are going to get lavender sheets. The greens are going to square up with the lavenders. I'm going to ask you to leave these face down until I get them distributed. I don't want anyone to start early. So I'm going to ask you to have a lavender. If you could have a green. The two folks behind you, lavender and green. It does not matter which color you get, just try not to get lavender. Just pass this. All right, so, in fact, can I get you to help me out with this? Because these are going to take forever to distribute. Thank you. And it's just one-on-one, pretty obvious. Could you, sir, also? Go back to the bunch. And I'll make sure you get one of these.
What it is. Green carbon.
One of each? One of each. Every other, you know what I mean. One green, one lavender. One pairs of greens and lavenders. Sir, green and lavender. You, sir.
You're talking about when the screen's on? No, he wasn't. Well, he did.
You just pick one. And the two of you, sir.
Oh, yeah,
Okay, first one down.
I was thinking I want Red to go into his to the shower.
Oh, this guy's on.
Oh, it was Tommy Boy. Was the movie. Yeah.
All right, does everybody have a sheet? And does everybody have a partner? If you have a lavender sheet, you should be partnered up with someone who has a green sheet. Thank you so much, sir. I'm sorry to press you into duty there. All right, anyone else? Thank you, sir. I appreciate it very much. All right, what's going to happen, in a moment, I'm going to ask you to turn over and read your confidential information. After you have read your confidential information, I want you to just sit there. Do not turn to your partner until I tell you to. I want everyone in the room to start at exactly the same time. If everybody in the room starts at exactly the same time, I'm going to break it off when about half the people have reached an agreement. If I ask you to break off negotiations and you still have not reached an agreement, please at that point, just stop. We'll talk about the outcome. All right? So I'll repeat these instructions as we get a little bit further. What I'd like you to do now is go ahead and turn over and read your confidential information, making sure that you never mind. Just turn over and read your confidential information. All right, in a moment, I'm gonna ask you to turn to your partner and begin the negotiation. Some of you will reach an agreement very quickly, some of you more slowly, some of you not at all. All three of those outcomes are not only acceptable, they're expected. Once you and your partner reach an agreement, I'm gonna ask you to raise your hand and get my attention. Number one, so that I'll know that you're done. And number two, so I may come over and ask you a couple questions about how you'll accomplish the goal. All right? Does everybody have a partner? Is there an extra green? You have no partner, and you have no partner. Serendipity. Could I have you come up and join me here, sir? All right. What's going to happen is I'm going to give you an opportunity to negotiate. Please turn to your partner now and start the negotiations.
Your problem, Mr. President. I'm Colonel Richard. So as you are probably aware, we serve under the yellow belly firefighter tags. What can we also
Why do I want you?
we have reached the 5-minute mark. What I'd like to know now, if you did not get a deal, I'm sorry. Vegas has exploded, and the tribe is dead.
Should have taken the deal.
Oh, thank you. I was like, Ted, you have a point? No, just wanted to let you know. I'm done. All right. That's good. How many people reached an agreement? Show of hands. How many people did not get a deal? Did not get a deal. You're the ones I want to ask some questions. Right here. You, sir. Why did you not get a deal? What was going on there?
We couldn't understand what would save the tribe and the city of Las Vegas.
Absolutely. We had good intentions. We wanted to save both, but we didn't really know how to go about it. Interesting. Anybody else not get a deal? Did not get a deal. What's going on up here?
We're still getting the information out. We haven't even figured out what our mutual goals were.
Yeah, it's hard to, we ran out of time. Look, if I'd had more time, we'd have bonded, we'd have found mutual goals, we'd have worked on the problem and solution together.
We were getting there.
We were getting there. You were that close. Let me ask you, who else did not get a deal?
She threatened violence.
Well, sir, I'm sure that's not the first time. What else? What happened? Did not get a deal? Did not. What happened?
Well, if you know Mr. Lawler, you understand that we never had a chance to succeed.
Yeah.
No, I actually think there was some, same issue trying to figure out a way to save everybody.
Right.
We seem to be focused on putting the tribe first.
Yeah.
Not an issue for me. I said, what can we offer you if we get any test? But the problem is in the mechanics of what to do with the eggs once you got them seems to be.
Right.
So
Yeah.
what we would have ended up agreeing on, I suspect, is he agreed to let me give him 2 people to get the rest of the eggs, after which we would use those same 2 people to make the syrup, presumably, or whatever it goes on the comes. I would have agreed to that, although we did not, and then had the Army use those 2 people to come in, take them out, take the eggs.
And if you knew Mr. Alexander, you would know why at first I was very, very leery of his intentions, because Army in my little village means from him bad things are about to happen. So that actually could explain some of that too.
We might overbought.
Obviously, you 2 have things going on that no is going to help. Let me tell you, this exercise, kind of interesting. Who were some of my colonels who did not get a deal? Colonel who did not get a deal. Sir, why not? What did you need to get out of this deal? What were you looking for?
More time.
More time? But I mean, the physical, what were you looking for? What'd you want?
100 eggs.
100 eggs. 100 yellow belly nail biter eggs. I hate it when that happens. And you need 100 yellow belly nail biter eggs. Did you have any alternatives? Could you use, 97 eggs? No? 98? No, probably wouldn't work. They told you needed 100. 99? Absolutely not. You needed all 100. Could you use any substitutes? Could you use chicken eggs? No? Quail eggs? No? Ostrich eggs? No? Egg beaters? Could you use those? No, we need the cholesterol in this bomb. So you really didn't have a lot of options. And you, sir, you were in the Grizzly, weren't you?
I was.
And what did you need out of this? Did you need those 100 eggs?
I needed 100 eggs.
And you had 100 eggs, didn't you, sir? Now, why didn't you give them to him?
Because all the people would die.
Yeah, you needed them. You had your tribesmen were relying on you. This is something. And could you use a substitute?
Nope.
No. Could you use a lesser amount? No. You needed 100 yellow belly nail biter eggs. And you needed 100 yellow belly nail biter eggs. And you couldn't use, and there are only 100 yellow belly nail biter eggs. I mean, anybody who said they were going to go look for more, there are no more. I mean, the yellow belly nail biter egg laying season is gone. Those are the only 100 that exist. And yet, many of you reached an agreement. Who were some of the ones who reached an agreement? what agreement did you reach? Yes.
He took the shells and I took the inside seal.
Yeah. Yeah. If you were Colonel Richards, you did not need 100 yellow belly nail biter eggs. You needed 100 yellow belly nail biter egg shells. If you were Grizzly, you didn't need 100 yellow belly nail biter eggs. You needed 100 yellow belly nail biter yolks. How many people had a solution, but it was not that one? Yes, I always enjoy these ones. What was your solution, man?
Yes, sir, I didn't get to it.
I traded you the eggshells.
Yeah, you'd whip up a serum, and you'd give it to the tribe, and you'd wake them up, and immediately tell them, feeling good? Yeah, I feel a lot better. Get out, start looking for eggs. Was that the solution? Yeah, along those lines. Fred, what was your solution?
Just call me Jim now.
Yeah.
Same deal, just gonna heal my people first.
Yeah.
And then we were gonna
Yeah.
search, take care of the people.
They're quick healers, you know? Hey, you shake that coma off, let's go. Just rub it out. You know, we're gonna get out there and look for eggs. Who else had a deal? What was your deal, sir?
$320 million to Grizzly Adams with a potential 50% loss of life because we split it up 50-50, but also a generic drug that would have taken care of the rest of it.
Which one of you was Grizzly? You were Grizzly? And sold out your family for $320 million.
You know, this has been eluding me all my life. The richness of these eggs, so now I've got it.
Anybody feel a little bit comfortable that they're not in his family? What'd you pick up? I'm a very lucky man. I'm not related to that gentleman. Yeah, sometimes you have people, anybody come up with a solution, they see this solution all the time. We were going to gather up the tribe and take them to Vegas. Isn't that great? Because there's nothing tribesmen like better than the Strip. You know? Take them over to Fairmont Street. They love it. There's a lot of people in a coma over there.
What happens in that?
That's right. That's right. Let me tell you what typically happens in this exercise. Look, a lot of us, a couple things get in the way. Why don't we understand that it's shells and yolks? And a lot of you are going back and reading and checking. Trust me, it's in there. I've done this before. But if you can't concentrate until you see paragraph 4, couple lines from the bottom. So what gets in the way of the probing here? Why don't we find out what the other side needs or wants? Well, some of it is ego. You know? I mean, it's a green sheet. It's a fake promotion. A lot of us have not been a colonel in a very long time. But all of a sudden the promotion came through. You know? All of a sudden I'm a colonel in the Green Sheet Army. And you sit there and even though it's a fake promotion, it comes with a lot of fake swagger. You know? And Colonel starts off with something like this. Hey Grizzly, you know who I am? Now how does Grizzly respond to that? No, and I don't care. You know, I'm Colonel Richards in the Green Sheet Army. So back off. And Grizzly said, yeah, well, I'm Grizzly Adams in the Lavender Forest. You know, who cares about titles at that point? You know, sometimes if we ever negotiate where the egos get in the way. You know, the titles get in the way. I'm a colonel, should I be talking to you? But because I'm a civilian? No, because you don't have to talk to them. Whatever it might be. You know, the egos get in the way. The second thing, did anybody lie in their negotiation? Lie about whether they had the eggs or not? Did anybody say to the other side, I don't have the eggs? Yeah? Just the two of you? Yeah, okay, thank you. I knew there were more, but I mean, let's face it, you're liars. It turns out it's habitual. So anyhow, what happens in this exercise? Colonel Richard shows up and says, hey, Grizzly, I need those 100 eggs. What does Grizzly say? Eggs? What eggs? I have no idea what you're talking about. Now, how does Colonel Richards respond to that? I got pictures. You had 100 eggs this morning. I've got satellite photos. You had 100 eggs and you have one right in your hand. You got caught literally red-handed. The best response I ever saw was a big chubby guy, and he said, you know what? That big omelet for lunch. That's right, it was me. The bottom line is, look, people lie when they negotiate. People lie so much when they negotiate, they don't even call it buying. They just call it negotiating. Okay? Puffering. Is that what it is?
Yeah, buffering.
Puffering. You see it all the time. Sometimes they don't even call it negotiating. Sometimes they just call it shopping. You ever seen somebody in a department store? They know exactly what they want. They know exactly what signs. They're over at the rack flipping through, looking for it. Salesperson comes over and says, may I help you? What do they tell the salesperson? No, I'm just looking. Isn't that great? Can I help you with something? No, I'm just looking. I know. That's what I wanted to help you with. Yeah, but if I tell you what I'm looking for, you might find it. And if you find it, I could be obligated to buy it. If I bought it, I would have it, which is why I came in. But it's a secret. Seems kind of bizarre, doesn't it? People don't get, well, information is power. Of course I'm going to hold back information. And that's why sometimes we have to share a little bit of information to get the other side to open up. What are you looking for? I don't know. What are you looking for? Okay, well, let's talk about some things. Let's build that common ground before we get in. Look, you didn't have enough time to build the common ground, and you didn't have enough time to ask questions. Given more time, I think everybody in the room would have come up with a deal. But it wasn't, we didn't give you a whole lot of time for this exercise. How about this? Show of hands. How many people threaten violence? Threaten to kill the other side? Yeah, but yeah. Kind of interesting. And I'm just going to assume you liars did also. Let me ask you this: what did you threaten, sir?
He intimated there was powers greater than him behind it.
Yeah, well, there's truth to that. That's not a lie. You're telling the truth. Anybody else threaten violence? What did you threaten, sir?
Colonel, I had the military behind me. I was going to destroy it.
Yeah. And how did you share that? What did you say? Interesting. What did he say exactly, though, when he let you know that he was ready to kill you?
Just about that.
Just about that? Yeah, lovely. Lovely. You seem like a lovely man, sir. And it comes out. So did Ted Bundy. It comes out, and he says, listen, I'm a colonel. I'm authorized to kill you, but I don't want to do that. Did that make you cooperate?
I said you probably won't find the eggs if I'm dead.
Yeah. She essentially said, go for it. You know why? Because if you kill me, you're never going to find the eggs. Interesting. Listen, you kill me, you're never going to get the eggs. I love that. I see people all the time that not talk to each other. Say, did you get a deal? They go, no, I got, just shot him. Okay. Did you get the eggs first? Oh, that's what they remember. So it's interesting in this exercise. We also get parents who just refuse to get a deal. They just don't get it. Sometimes people have long-standing relationships. Doesn't always help and cannot get the deal. We have some folks, I think this might have happened here. It's like a white unicorn. You don't see it very often. And you go to people and say, did you get a deal? Yeah, we got a deal. So what was the deal? I get the shells, he gets the yolks. Okay, great. Wait, there's more. What do you mean there's more? Yeah, then I shot him. But you already have what you wanted. Yeah, it just seemed cleaner that way. Is that what you did, ma'am?
No, I just told you the eggs, or else the Bob was asking.
Oh, may I quote you on that? You're lucky you gave me the eggs, or I was going to bomb your ass. Okay. This exercise. Look, what do we see in this exercise? Well, a couple things. Number one, preparation helps your probing. Isn't that great? Preparation helps you probing. You can follow along in those handouts. couple things there. Preparation helps your probing. Boy, wouldn't it be great if you had a system for preparing for a negotiation? I don't know, a handy acronym that would help you. Something like PAID, pain. Well, Jeff, yeah, you just went over that, I know. But you gave us a case where it's virtually useless. I mean, let's be honest. Precedents? You know, I hope this has never happened to you before. How about the next one? Alternatives. Alternatives. But alternatives, I need a very specific item from a very specific bird. I mean, you know, there are no alternatives here. Interest. What were your interests? Save the tribe. Defuse the bomb. And no help there. Deadline? Did you know what the deadline was? Yeah, a lot of people think it was 48 hours. They go, oh yeah, I had 48 hours. I was Grizzly Adams and I had 48 hours. Look, not unless you talk to the colonel, because a lot of times you go, yeah, we had 48 hours. And the colonel says, no, you didn't. You had about 3 minutes before I was going to have to break the cap off your end. So, I mean, we're not really sure what kind of time frame we're working with. So, I mean, the PAID, not a lot of help in this exercise. Unless the eye, 100 eggshells, 100 egg yolks. That might help. Even if you just circle the word in the written word, or shells or yolks, that may have helped. You gentlemen got this very quickly. What was the conversation? What allowed you to get the deal done? Did you guys get the deal or didn't get the deal? No, it must have been you two. What were some of the things you said that allowed you to get the deal done?
I asked him if there's any way that we could split up the eggs.
Can we split them up?
Yeah, I said, is there any, he said, no, I need 100. I said, you need 100 eggs or parts of the egg? And he said, no, I need the shells. And I said, well, I don't need the shells, I need the yolk.
Yeah.
So it was easy after that.
Yeah, it's easy after that. Look, if you have a good idea of what your interest is, you're going to have a much better opportunity to get the deal done. But PAID, preparation helps your program. I don't think anyone would deny that. But I mean, how many of you had time to prepare? I got to tell you, I have two confessions I want to make real quick. First one is, I'm a slow reader. Yeah, I am. I'm a slow reader. I like to think I make it up in comprehension, but it takes me a while to read stuff. But that's not the important confession. The important confession is the next one. I'm very vindictive. Yeah. And I was in your seats doing this exercise. And if I can't finish reading, I'm not going to give you a whole lot of extra time. I like to keep the pressure on. So a lot of you didn't even have enough time to read the whole thing. And yet, also, some of you flipped it over and you had the exact same reaction I had. Yeah, I remember well. And I heard some of you. And you got your sheet and you immediately flip it over. I remember the facilitator. I was in your seat, the facilitator said, now turn over and read your confidential information. I remember flipping mine over and looked at it going, that's a lot. Did anybody say there'd be reading involved? I just came to listen, man. And could they get a smaller font? What's up with that? Jeez Louise. And I'm reading as fast as I can. And you know about what made it worse? I was paired up with like one of those late night speed readers, So, I'm sitting here. They're over there just scanning the word, they're just reading like crazy. And I'm sitting looking at my sheet trying to sound the words out. And so all of a sudden, and I'm reading as fast as I can, all of a sudden the facilitator says, now turn to your partner and negotiate. Well, scan reader's done. So scan reader turns to me and she goes, what do you want? And I'm sitting there going, I got something about a gorilla. No idea. So I immediately turned back to her and started asking some questions. Because probing is a good safe harbor. So I said, I don't know, what do you want? She goes, I want to save the tribe. Really? How are you going to do that? I'm going to do it with these 100 eggs. Really? Tell me a little bit more about that. Well, I'm going to whip up the syrup. How are you going to do that? Well, every time I ask her a question, I'm just asking because it gives me a little more time to go back and read. But it's interesting because just as soon as she starts talking about cracking the eggs open, that's when I get the part about only needing the shells. And I ask her the key question. What part of the egg do you need? And you know what she says? I don't know, I'll go back and find out. Yeah, so much for speed reader comprehension. I had her there. The bottom line is, look, she goes back, she finds out she only needs yolk, I only need the shells, boom, we have a deal. Now why is that? Because of our second point. Even without a lot of preparation, good probing helps. Somebody catches you off guard. Somebody surprises you. Somebody ambushes you. Somebody presents you with a problem that you have never considered before in your life. A good safe harbor is PAID, precedence. Have I ever seen anything similar? Alternatives, in this instance, what options do we have? Interest, what's the underlying interest, not just the position? And then finally, what kind of deadline are we working with? Is this something that we have 5 minutes to solve? Or 5 weeks? Or 5 months? Do we have to decide right now? Or can we kick the can a little bit? PAID, even without preparation, even if you haven't done that, good probing helps. Asking good questions. And then finally, assuming no deal can create no deal. I'll tell you, I'll see 2 people, this happened before, I've seen 2 people, they're not talking to each other. I said, you got a problem? They said, no, this is impossible. And I said, no, it's not impossible. They go, yeah, it is really hard. It's hard, but it's not impossible. Well, I mean, you've got some more time, keep going. And they said, they're doing me a favor. And I'm like, yeah, okay. And they turn back to the other and they go, well, so what do you need? 100 eggs. Yeah, me too. We're done. You're done. I mean, thanks for the effort. But I mean, the bottom line is, look, assuming no deal creates no deal. We go into the deal going, but I'm glad you're here to help us, but I got to tell you right now, it is impossible to get a deal with these people. Okay, well, I think I know what the problem is there. You've got one side saying it's impossible. You might have the other side saying it's impossible. So, we have to go in believing that there's a deal to be had. The next one, WHAT. If you flip over to the next page, our acronym for probing was PAID. Our acronym for probing, appropriately enough, is WHAT. WHAT. The W questions. What's important? What else? What else? What else? What's most important? Why? I thought it was very interesting. The gentleman who spoke right before lunch talked about the 5 whys. Why? Great advice. This is kind of similar. What's important? What else? What else? People will often give you the red herring or the deal breaker first. What's important? I want to be made whole in this deal. Okay, and we often take the bait. Well, let me tell you why that's not going to happen. Or let me tell you what we're trying to do to get you made whole. Instead of sometimes backing off, it's not about the solution sometimes. It's about the process. So can we answer the question, great, you want to be made whole. What else? What else do you want? I'd like some financial. Okay, great. What else do you want? I want my medical bills. Great. What else? Well, you know what? I'm going to need something down the road. Whatever it is, we're sequencing our questions so that we can get to the root of the problem. And when you get there, why? I think that's most important. It's interesting. We often wouldn't think, you'd say, I want a certain amount of money. The question that should lead to mind is why? What are you going to do with it? What do you mean, I want the money? Well, of course you do. Everybody does. But can I ask? What's the money going to do for you? My mentor, Ron Sparrow, oftentimes when people in this region will have a big lottery winner, and the first call they make is to Ron. They know that he's experienced dealing with high net worth individuals. They know he's a prominent attorney, had a lot of experience, and they'll call Ron. And Ron will call him in and sit him down and does not take them as a client, or at least he never has, because there's other people who can handle them more appropriately. But he does immediately take on an advisory role and ask some questions. What do you want to happen? Because if you think about it, our goal today with this huge influx of money is to make sure you're as happy 10 years from now as you are right here at this moment. Great advice. You know, how many people think, I got the money? You know, and it turns into a long tragedy. You know, the goal is, you got the money, great, fabulous. But that wasn't the end game. The end game is to make sure that you're continually happy. So let's figure out some ways we can do that. What's important to you, what else, and why? The best negotiation is when you can give somebody what they want without giving them what they've asked for. I want to give people 1/4-inch holes every time they ask for a 1/4-inch drill bit. I'm going to give you a couple holes. Well, sometimes it's hard. Sometimes you don't have holes to give. But if you can find the holes, sometimes that's a better solution. The next part of this, hypothetical. Hypothetically speaking, if we could do anything, what would that look like? Hypothetically speaking. Hypothetically, if I could do this, would you be satisfied? It's the trial close. You all know that. Answer questions with questions. That's why for years people hated you lawyers. Answer questions with questions. How much is that going to cost? I don't know. How much do you have? How you doing? How you doing? No, that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about what many of you do that has been misconstrued for years. Just trying to find out. Why did you ask? You asked that for a reason. Can I ask you why before I start the answer? You know what? If we can find out why they asked, that's usually half the answer. In fact, it might be written down there, I'm not sure, but a wise man's question contains half the answer. If we can find out why he asked, we're going to be in a much better position. And then finally, tell me more. How do you know when you've asked enough? A great catch-all is tell me more. Tell me more about that. Resisting the urge to give a solution and taking the opportunity to ask one more question. Tell me more. Always a great question to ask. Now, if we can do all of that, we talk about the 3 P's: prepare, probe, and propose. Preparation, build your confidence, PAID. Probing, WHAT. We also talk about proposing, though. Couple of things here. Try not to make the first offer. Sound them out. Find out what the only exception to that might be when you're negotiating with someone who does not understand the market. You might want to set the market, whether it's the settlement or whatever it might be. Don't accept their first offer immediately. Woo! You got a deal. And when making offers, set goals high. How high? As high as you reasonably can, based on the information that you have, based on the precedents. You can implement those, you'll have better outcomes. But if we're going to aim high, we also have to be ready to trade. And when I think of trades, I like to start off with Cochrane's Law. Cochrane's Law. I'm Cochrane. It's my law. The law says S is equal to R over E. I didn't invent it, I just appropriated it. So S is equal to R over E, where S is equal to satisfaction, R is equal to reality, and E is equal to expectation. S is equal to R over E. You can see that when somebody's expectation goes up and their reality remains constant, their satisfaction level goes down. It's just an algebraic equation for something we all know. Under promise, over deliver. Why would I have the audacity to call that Cochrane's Law? Appropriate that and call it Cochrane's Law. Well, we were talking about Cochrane's Law in my office and weren't sure what to call it, but I immediately started thinking about my home life. My first job out of college, my first career, I was a Peace Corps volunteer. I was a Peace Corps volunteer working in micro-lending over in this tiny little Himalayan kingdom of Nepal. And Nepal is a tiny country between China and India. And a lot of you are nodding because you know that. You know, I remember when they called me and they said, congratulations, you've been accepted to the Peace Corps, we're going to send you to Nepal. I remember getting off the phone thinking, yes, Italy. Not so much. So I packed my bags and I go to Nepal. I was there for 2.5 years. In the process of being there, I ended up meeting a woman who took a loan through my program, and we spent a lot of time together, and, you know, she was about my age, and she'd never been married, and one thing led to another, we got married. We've been married now for about 28 years. And it's kind of neat. You marry into that culture. Hey, son-in-law, you're the king. So I mean, but she grew up in a mud hut, no running water, no electricity, literally. When we got married, part of the agreement was we installed a well at her house because she was the person in the household who used to have to walk 2 miles, fill up jars of water, and walk back to her home. And the mother said, I said, can I marry your daughter? She said, well, if you do, who's going to carry the water? I said, I got an idea, let's put in a well. She said, okay, you can marry. You know, so I'm a problem solver, that's me. So my wife comes to America, and people hear that story, they say, how is she doing? How do you go from a mud hut, no running water, no electricity, to America, the land of consumerism? Well, you know what? She's done really well for herself. In fact, I remember one incident where she called me on my way home from work. She said, are you on your way home from work? I said, yeah. She said, do you go by Best Buy? I said, yeah. She said, do they sell microwave ovens? I said, yeah. She said, could you pick one up? I said, absolutely. You know, but we have a microwave oven. She said, I know it's broken. I said, broken? How long has it been broken? All day, and it's driving me crazy. I said, sweetie, when I met you, you were rubbing sticks together to heat things up. Yeah. She said, yeah, that's real funny. Just get one. So I think it's safe to say her reality has gotten better. Unfortunately, her expectations have also gone up, and I'm working 24/7 just to keep her satisfied. So we call that Cochran's Law. Now, Cochran's Law is the law of deflation. That does not, a couple of you, you're ahead of me. You're sitting there going, I get it, Jeff. Convince them you're incompetent so that when you're not, they're happy. No, I've tried that one. No, it's more about can we manage it down? Hey, can we get a quick settlement on this? That's going to be hard. It's going to be hard to do. Munger's Law. Munger's Law is the law of explanation, justification. People respond more favorably when you give them an explanation. Right? Even when the explanation makes no sense or is quite obvious. Guy in line to the copy machine. They sent in an actor. He said, can I get in front of you? Nobody let him in line. They sent him back. He said, can I get in front of you because I have to make some copies? People started letting them in. Oh, copies. Yes, go ahead. Seems bizarre, but it happens. Give an explanation. Hey, can we get a quick settlement here? That's going to be tough. These settlements usually take a long time. Pretty obvious. And yet saying it makes them more amenable to the solution. And then finally, Cialdini's Law. Robert Cialdini is the author of Influence. The psychology, persuasion, influence, the psychology of persuasion. And in his book, he talks about the law of reciprocation. People tend to give immediately after they've received. The best time to ask for something is immediately after you've given something, even when it's very small. Hey, can I get the affidavit on blah 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 for last Friday? I can't find mine. Absolutely. We can send that over. While I had you know what I wanted from you? I'm not sure I had the notes from the first call. Could you help me out there? Could I get a readout of that? Could I get a printout of that? That's going to be tough, because those documents are confidential. I can probably get that for you. If I can get you that, can you do this for me? The best time to ask is when you're delivering. Look, I appreciate your attention. I appreciate your time. I know that many of the things that I've talked about today are things that you do on a regular basis. I know that a lot of the stuff that I've talked about today is stuff that, maybe you stopped doing it because you've been doing it so long. My goal in the last 90 minutes was to present to you several ideas in a way that are going to be easy to remember and easy to access to make you, no matter how good you are, just a little bit better. So, for each of you, I have a laminated card right here that has the entire course right here in miniature. One of these for each of you. I know I distributed these at one talk I gave. I gave a talk at Columbia TriStar Pictures. President of the company was there for the talk. He enjoyed it so much, he took one of the cards. He called us 2 weeks later, because our 800 number is right on there. He called us 2 weeks later and said, look, I'm on my way to a negotiation. I do this all the time, but I pulled out your card to build confidence. I said, that's so cool. Who are you negotiating with? He said, Steven Spielberg. Yeah. So now you know who to thank for no more Pauly Shore movies. Yep, that was us. So anyhow, again, my name is Jeff Cochran. The firm is the Shapiro Negotiations Institute. I hope that you will take one of the laminated cards. We do consulting, we do training, and we do speaking.